The Apostle Paul, in each of his 13 New Testament letters, uses the phrase grace and peace in greeting his readers. Grace and peace. The two just seem to go together. I've been the recipient of grace throughout my entire life. It was by grace that I was born into a Christian home. It was by grace that I was reared in a Salvation Army culture. It was by grace that, attending a Lutheran college, I met a Baptist girl who agreed to become both a Salvationist and an officer so that we might spend our lives together. Let me this morning describe two occasions when I very definitely felt the peace and the grace of God in my life. The year was 1950. My wife and I were cadets at the School for Officers Training in Chicago. She was pregnant. And on the afternoon of Monday, November 20, she gave birth to our firstborn son. Her mother and I were at the hospital, and seemingly all was well. But on Tuesday morning, after having attended classes in the morning, I went to visit her, and I found her in tears. The doctor had been in and had given her the news that Bob Jr. was suffering both from a collapsed lung and a heart murmur. You can imagine our concern, which we shared with the cadet body and the staff at the training college. A great deal of intercessory prayer was offered. And by Thursday, which was Thanksgiving Day, we received the news that all was well. Our new son was 100% healthy, and we were at peace. Now, admittedly, it was a shallow peace, experienced by relatively immature believers who were extremely thankful that God had chosen to answer our prayers in the way that we saw fit. But we were at peace. Incidentally, in those days, there was no provision for children to be housed at the training college, so young Bob went to live with our good friends, Glenn and Jean Jorian. And when Bob was a second grader, he was asked to write his autobiography, which he did, beginning with these words: "I was born in a Salvation Army hospital for unwed mothers. My parents couldn't take care of me, so I went to live with Uncle Glenn and Aunt Jean. But that's another story." Fast forward 63 years to 2013. After having survived 2 bouts of cancer, Carol once again was stricken. When the first signs appeared, the doctor said, "We don't know what it is, but we don't think it's cancer." It was. Once again, we prayed fervently for a cure, for a miracle, and we were not alone. Many of you in this congregation joined with us in prayer, but no miracle occurred. By the time December arrived, Carol had been under hospice care for several months, and a hospice nurse was in our home around the clock. About 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, I said to the nurse, "I'm going to the post office to pick up some stamps," which I did. And on my way home, I stopped here at the Corps building, and I met Colonel John Bate, who asked me, "How's your lady doing?" My reply, "She's on her way to glory." 10 minutes later, when I arrived home, the nurse was there to tell me that Carol was gone. Do I miss her? Of course I do. I miss her terribly. But I can honestly say I have not questioned God. I have not felt anger. Rather, I've looked back over a lifetime of happy service and loving companionship, and I thank God for his presence every step of the way. His will is perfect. His timing is perfect. His peace is perfect. And I am at peace with my God.